Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a lot to cover, but before we get into today's part, Logan Green, thank you very much for your support over on Patreon. And as always, analytics are very important, so please drop a like and a comment to help fuel the algorithm for the video. And if this is your first time here, please turn on notifications and subscribe so that way you'll never miss another upload. And if you want to support the channel even further, please consider becoming a channel member or a patron. You get exclusive access to things that I don't post on the main channel and early access to everything that I do. But with all that being said, let's get into what if Ash won the Hoenn League, the finale, part 5. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's part not in the present but in the past. It is the week that Ash entered the league. All of his friends were there and happy that our hero had made it this far after everything that they had gone through over the past year in the Hoenn region. Brock and Max were there to support Ash with each battle that had come, but May on the other hand began having issues with Ash's winning streak after he had begun to make it into the top 8. This is where her mind had become heavy with the thought of her having to say goodbye to her friends. It's something that had been stirring ever since the events in LaRousse, but until this point she had been able to push it down. Now, Ash is closer and closer to the end of the league, and May wasn't sure how to respond. But then the day came when he beat Morrison in the finals to win it all. In that moment, something sealed inside of her. Ash had just won the league. This means that he had gone farther than she ever did in the Grand Festival. It was something that May didn't know how to feel about, but the questioning of her purpose quickly gave way to an unrelenting desire. Ash had advanced past her in the accomplishments within the region. Up until this point, they were on slightly equal footing, or just slightly ahead. But now, Ash had moved miles ahead of her. May was forced to watch as the boy kept progressing while she just stagnated. It was then, in the moment of Flygon toppling Steelix, that she decided she would be Ash's final opponent here in Hoenn. The only question is, could she close the gap between the two before he would lose against the Elite Four, or possibly the champion? The only thing May could do was train, while Ash continued to grow in the battles with the high-level trainers of the Hoenn Elite Four. So that is what May did, and she continued until she and her Pokemon could no longer move. But now, Ash was in the final moments of his battle with Glacia, with May staring down Misty. You know, Ash's battle is over, so you shouldn't have left. However, May is quick to state that Ash had lost. Glacia was too much for the boy, and there was no point in staying around. May then steps past Misty. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. You know, Ash's battle isn't over. There's still a chance that he could pull it out. While May agrees there is a chance, she states that Glacia had played the battle like it was an operating table. She slowly dismantled Ash's team until he only had one left. There was no way he was winning. Wow, didn't think you would have such little faith in the one you call a friend, Misty quips. However, May simply says that the same could be said for the redhead. She left before May could even make it out of there. So Misty was of the same mindset. But the redhead smiles back. Oh, you have no idea what I have going on in my head, but I guarantee you that I know exactly what's going on through your mind. Oh, I highly doubt that, May says, as she begins to send out all of her Pokemon so that way they can get started in training. It's here that Misty begins to play psychoanalyst with May, rattling off things that she's seen about the girl. However, as the Hoenn princess responds, the notifications go off, signaling that the battle with Ash and Glacia is over. The two girls lock eyes as a pit of emotions begin to well up in May. Is Misty right? Was Ash able to win? Now we move to the present time. It is here that we find Drake alone in the dead of night. He stands in the middle of the stadium that in less than 12 hours will house his final battle in the Elite Four, and as a member of the Hoenn League. A slight breeze skips across the stadium as the old man looks into the night sky.
It seems the winds of change are upon us. All these years, and only now am I willing to accept it.
That's because you're a stubborn old fool who wishes to suffer in silence then embrace new horizons.
With a smirk, Drake turns, only to see the other three elites standing before the Dragon Master.
Well, isn't this interesting? Tell me, why have you three decided to interrupt my moment of reflection? Are you here to offer wisdom on how to defeat the boy?
Nah, it's nothing like that, old man. We're just wondering, that's all. Things have come to a head so quick it's hard to see if we're still the good guys in this whole mess.
Sydney, ever the idealist. Tell me, how did a Dark-type trainer end up with a sense of virtues like that? Is it a misplaced sense of morality, or are you just a glutton for punishment?
This question invokes silence in the man as he looks at Drake inquisitively.
Come on, Drake. Sydney's right. Ever since the start of the tournament, the line between right and wrong has been blurred. Steven has us all second-guessing ourselves and the motives we operate on.
That's right. Old Rock Boy has that silver spoon firmly in the grip of his cheeks and refuses to let it go. To the point where I'm wondering if it's even worth staying part of the league.
Wait! You two? Come on, Sydney!
comment causes a brief disagreement between the two that quickly festers into an argument, but this won't stand among the remaining two.
Will you two be silent for once? This is not the time for us to be fighting amongst ourselves. There is still a real problem that we must face with a united front. Good Show has put us all in the position where there is no way to win. If we beat the boy, then Steven gets control of the league. But if we lose, then we are burdening a child with our failures. We need a contingency plan to ensure that Steven doesn't take power.
This quiets everyone as Glacia looks at Drake with her icy tone.
Glacia, tell me, did you give your all to beat the boy?
With a look that pierces the Dragon Master's soul, Glacia responds with disappointment and irritation.
Though it pains me to say this, the boy was the true victor. I gave it my all, even using a move that I thought would secure victory. But even I must admit the boy has something that I wasn't expecting.
Both Sydney and Phoebe ask what that is in tandem. With a look of contempt, Glacia utters one word.
Innocence. The boy has yet to be influenced by the current world of adults. Something we could all take a lesson from. But the truth in the matter is that we cannot leave him to be influenced by Steven.
But Glace, if we all leave, what other option is there?
Turning, the ice specialist lets out her frustrations.
That's it. Drake? I know you have a plan, old man. You always have a plan. So I think it's time you let the rest of us in on it.
The old man looks out at the stars.
They're bright tonight. The stars. It's been a long time since I've stopped to appreciate them.
This comment triggers Glacia even further.
Drake, we don't have time for sightseeing. You need to be our leader and stop Steven's plans.
This comment finally causes the Dragon Master to turn his gaze to the other elites. However, Drake's following statement is going to leave them all shocked and confused.
We do nothing. Fate has decided with us all that it's time for change. No matter the outcome, destiny won't be denied. I plan to face the boy as his equal. If he wins, then he will face Steven. But if I win, then Steven will get the control he seeks.
The Dragon Master then turns and walks away as the other elites just watch, unsure if the old man is truly serious. However, Glacia has known him far too long for this to be a mere bluff.
Drake, you have doomed us all.
As the ice specialist contemplates these thoughts, we fade back to the day that Misty and May were having their disagreement. Silence and nerves are high as the two girls look at the Pokénav, not wanting to open it out of the fear of what it says. However, the tension is too much for May, causing her to demand that Misty open the darn thing before she goes crazy from anticipation. Doing so, the girl winces at the result out of disbelief. The look on Misty's face leads May to believe that she was right. Ash lost, and her time has come, so she tells her Pokemon to get started. They have a battle to win. However, Misty says she is wrong. Ash won. Glacia lost to him in Slacking. He's going to face Drake in 2 days. This causes everyone to stop. No, that can't be, May yells, opening up her own Pokénav to check the results. But there it is, plain as day. This causes a bit of frustration and worry to build in the girl that is obvious, and Misty immediately picks up on it. You know, trying to keep up with Ash will end up making you weaker in the long run. Turning, May snaps, asking what Misty knows about it. She's a gym leader far below the level that she and Ash are currently at. This causes the redhead to chuckle a bit. That's a bold statement. Maybe you wouldn't mind backing up that claim in a battle. Looking at Misty, May sees that she now holds a Pokeball. Come on, you've been out here training this whole time, yet you haven't had a chance to really test yourself. Looking at her Pokemon, May decides that Misty is right, though this may not be much of a challenge. This statement causes the two to stop, as May demands that if they do this, it will be a full 6-on-6. Smiling, Misty states that she hadn't planned for anything less, as she sends in her first choice. Now we move forward in time to 30 minutes before the battle with Ash and Drake. The Dragon Master sits quietly in the locker room, awaiting the call for him to make his grand entrance. As the old Sea Dog Frog stoically sits reminiscing on the last 50 years of his life, his accomplishments, his failures, the secrets that he carried, and that he still carries. They swirl around his mind like a raging storm at sea. The old man can feel it. His blood pumps as his heart palpitates in his chest. He muses to himself about the amount of time since he last felt like this. Drake is beginning to feel a euphoria that hasn't graced him in many years. However, this inner peace is going to be interrupted by the one person that Drake wasn't expecting. Glancing to his right, there stands Steven. You know, if you have some sort of big plan to overthrow me and save the League, you're running out of time to enact this masterful plan of yours.
You really should stop assuming that everything is about you. It will make people less willing to follow you because of their belief in you.
It's funny you think I'm making this about me. That couldn't be farther from the truth. I just want what's best for everyone.
There is only one problem with that line of thinking. You assume you know best for everyone. But how could you? Your experience is different than theirs.
So, what does that have to do with anything relevant to the matters that are at hand? Tragedy is what binds us all. That experience will forever change the way people look at the ones in power.
That is where you are wrong. Most seek simple lives. You seek power to control life. It's the mistake my ancestors made. The mistake I made. Instead of trying to control the narrative and convincing people that are no longer safe and the ones in charge cannot protect them, you, as the leader, should be encouraging them to live together. Find the balance. That is the only way life can exist.
While I appreciate your concern, old man, the fact is we failed. Our leadership failed. The one thing that my father taught me was those who have the ability to act have the responsibility to act. Failure to do so makes us no better than those who wish to bring harm for their own selfish desires. It is the basic driving force of humans. We seek safety and security above all else. Once the danger is great enough, we will gladly pay any cost. This is how Magma and Aqua gained so many followers. Their methods and visions were misguided, but they offered a world that was secure, a future that is plentiful. The allure of that promise will bring them in masses. With the DIDNT Corporation and Pokemon League there to offer the protection needed, Hoenn will become a beacon to the world for hope and prosperity. However, there's only one obstacle in the way of my grand vision: you and Good Show. I need you to understand, I would rather this transfer of power be peaceful. The less resistance, the better. So if you plan to use this battle with the boy as a way to plant the seeds of a rebellion, I must advise against it. Drake looks the champion down with a scowl, almost to say that he doesn't have time for this. However, he sighs.
You know, the problem with every leader that thinks they know best, they can never see the line when they cross it. You are dangerously close to the brink. If you don't watch your step, that line will be a distant memory. As far as my battle with the boy, I have long since abandoned any notion that it's anything more than a battle. I wish to test the boy, nothing more. The thrill of a powerful opponent is what I seek. Like you did before, I aim for him to push me to my limits.
I hope that's all it is, Steven quips. However, it's here that the bell finally rings for Drake to enter the battle area. The Dragon Master stands and makes his way to the door.
Steven, one last thing. You have the makings of a great leader, but the other elites have doubts about you. They all wish to leave. That would be a mistake in the highest order. But don't worry. They all are under strict orders to let this play out. Though in the end, you may find out how lonely the path you are choosing really is.
Drake then turns and walks down the path leading to the stadium, as Steven is left to think about what the Dragon Master said and who is truly right in this war of ideals. As the battle prepares to get underway, we move back to the battle with Misty and May. We see in this moment May feeling pretty confident in all of the training that she has been going through when her Chimecho is able to best Misty's Corsola with its unique movements due to its background in contest battles. You know, I was expecting more from a gym leader. You must be one of the weaker ones in Kanto. Smiling, Misty simply recalls her mom. You're very good for being a newbie trainer, May. All that time with Ash has done wonders, but that doesn't mean you're as good as you think you are. This next Pokemon will convince you otherwise, as Misty sends in her Politoed. May opts to keep in Chimecho due to its previous victory and it taking minimal damage. However, May's overconfidence is going to be revealed in a big way as Politoed and its rhythm overtake the Wind Chime and easily make a fool of May with a few double slaps. May falls silent, recalling the second type. What's the matter? I thought you were better than a lowly gym leader. A bit agitated, agitated by that comment, May just says let's get back to the battle, sending in Surskit, thinking that in matching the typings will level the playing field. The bug proves to be swift, evading most of Polito's water guns. Feeling confident, May tries to go for an end move with the bubble beam. However, Misty shows her who the master of water truly is, using a water gun off of a rock to strike the fast-moving bug from the side. This is enough to knock it out, showing the difference in the level of skill between the two. You know, we both traveled with Ash, but there is a clear difference between you and me. I watched as he grew as a trainer and passed me, while you only ever knew him at his best. You have been chasing him since the beginning. That forced you to grow, but me, I had to start all over again. After me and Ash went our separate ways, I knew that he would never stop growing. It's been that way since he first lost back in the Indigo League. I watched his dreams shatter right in front of him, yet he pushed forward. From there, he grew. There was no challenge he wouldn't take. It was something that inspired me. Now look at him. He could possibly capture a regional championship. It just leaves you to wonder what I'm capable of. So that has been what I've spent the last year doing. This lecture from Misty has May a bit heated, as she thinks the redhead is patronizing her, but Misty says that isn't the intention. So let's continue the battle. It could be the only way that May sees the truth behind her words. More than happy to end this uncomfortable conversation, May chooses her survival. As this battle gets underway, we move over to the moment after Ash won the battle with Glacia. The two are standing in the middle of the battlefield.
I am most impressed with your performance in our battle.
This causes Ash to look at Glacia. Thanks, he says, but I just did what you asked. I gave you my full attention, the best possible battle I could.
You certainly did. I'm glad that you were able to bring out your best.
However, this is when the complimentary tone of Glacia shifts.
Ash, I need you to hear what I have to say. There is a problem that is festering in the League. It is of utmost importance that you bring the same clarity to your upcoming battles as you did in this one. The future of Hoenn is hanging by a very fragile thread.
Unsure on how to respond, Ash looks confused at Glacia, then to the crowd for his friends. But the boy notices that there are two missing among the cheering crowd. Misty and May are gone. The boy's attention immediately divides with concern. Seeing this, Glacia knows what Ash is fixated on.
Ash, you need to stay focused. I assure you that your friends are fine.
But how do you know?
Trust me, they are fine. By sundown, they will have returned and you will see that your worry was unnecessary.
Ash is unsure on how to respond. Why is Glacia so confident in her statement? What did she mean by problems with the League? These are all things that now occupy the boy's mind. The feeling of a sudden burden has been thrusted upon him, but Ash isn't sure what this feeling is or how to handle it. Now this is where we shift to the current moment as Goodshow stands in the packed stadium to a cheering crowd. Beside him stands both Drake and Ash. The president has informed them of the rules and is prepared to announce the start of the battle. The choice of the battlefield will be a mixed one of both land and water. However, the two combatants are seemingly locked in a never-ending stare-down, though it's not one of aggression, but excitement and respect on both sides. This is when the Dragon Master breaks the silence between the two.
You've grown a lot since our last battle on my ship. I never thought that you would be the final opponent I would face as the strongest of the Hoenn Elite Four.
Ash thanks Drake for the compliment. You know, when I met you, I was still trying to discover who I was as a trainer. That's the whole reason why I came to Hoenn, to prove that I was an actual good trainer, that I could start over if I needed, and what I've accomplished so far wasn't just a fluke.
Well, that's admirable. But I can assure you that it was a trait that I saw in you from the moment we first battled, and I've had the pleasure of watching it grow over these past few weeks. Now come at me with everything you have. Let nothing hold you back, and only the majesty of the battle guide us both to its ultimate conclusion.
With a smirk, Ash says that he would have it no other way. Pikachu, I choose you! The electric mouse jumps into action as Drake responds in kind with a sure challenge for the boy.
Flygon, let the seas rage with your fury!
The first choice of the Dragon Master emerges from its ball with a pop as a sonic boom pierces the air. Ash can see that this Pokemon is far different from his own. The way it carries itself is a creature that has years of fighting experience.
Ash, this battle will be a struggle of the past and future. Hold nothing back. Now, Flygon, use Earthquake!
As the dragon strikes the ground, Ash wastes no time in responding, ordering Pikachu to use an Iron Tail to spring into the air. This puts it safely out of grasp of Flygon and positions itself very free with an Iron Tail. However, as the mouse comes down, Ash finds out firsthand why Drake is considered the strongest, as without even a word, Flygon beats its wings, creating a maelstrom that pushes the mouse back into the air. Taking this as his opening, Drake orders a double edge that connects for the first damage of the battle. Not wanting to let up, the Elite keeps up the assault with a Steel Wing before the mouse even hits the water below. Seeing this is going south, Ash calls for an Electro Volley that strikes strikes the water below, causing a surge and a wave to erupt with force, creating a barrier between the two, allowing Pikachu to hit the water, saving itself from being knocked out. Now hovering above the water, Flygon waits for Pikachu to surface on one of the little islands in the lake, but that's not what happens as Ash gives the command for a thunder from the mouse. Drake finds this odd as it's nowhere to be seen. However, it's quickly revealed what Ash was up to as the water once again spikes from the pool, dousing the dragon in water, as well as carrying sparks of electricity with the attack. While normally this wouldn't affect Flygon, the water has conducted the electricity and plays a role in fixing the type matchup problem for Ash. Seeing that they are now exposed, Drake orders a Dragon's Breath to attack Pikachu, but the dragon is forced to land as a flinch sets in from the thunder attack. This is when it hits Drake that Ash doesn't want to take Flygon out, just slow it down, which the boy confirms when the mouse cracks the dragon on the head with an iron tail.
Creativity. I like that in an opponent. Flygon, take back to the air and use Dragon Breath!
Doing so, the dragon finally hits Pikachu, sending the mouse back into the water. Knowing what Ash is up to with this move, Drake commands the dragon to flap its wings to create a sonic boom as Pikachu once again tries its thunder from within the pool. However, this backfires as the pop from Flygon's wings parts the lake, revealing the mouse. Seeing his chance to end this, Drake orders another double edge as the water begins to fall back in on itself. With no other options, Ash decides to go all or nothing, telling Pikachu to use a quick attack. The mouse does this as the dragon swoops down, landing on the back of its head. Drake commands Flygon to fly high, but that is the opposite of Ash's plans, as the mouse uses an iron tail once more, sending them both into the depths of the lake as the water swallows them whole. The last thing the crowd sees is a spark of electricity before the water settles. It takes a moment, but Flygon finally surfaces with spirals in its eyes as Pikachu floats next to it with a thumbs up signaling that it's okay, though the mouse did give nearly everything it had for that win. Recalling his dragon, Drake shows genuine pleasure in the outcome of this battle.
Using the pull like that to conduct the electricity so Flygon would actually be hit was a genius move. Adaptation in the heat of battle is an important quality if you want to grow as a trainer. Now, let's see how adaptable you truly are. Kingdra, let the seas rage with your fury!
Emerging from the ball, Ash can see what Drake meant, as he intends for this battle to be waterbound. The boy recalls Pikachu for the moment, as he knows the mouse wouldn't last a second against the seahorse. With Ash deciding on his next choice, we move back a few days to the morning of the battle with Glacia. Here, we see the ice specialist sitting in the eating area of the Pokemon Center. However, she is not alone. Across from the table sits the fourth sensational sister, Misty.
I'm glad you got my message. Thank you for meeting me so early. I know that it couldn't have been easy to get all the way out here without being noticed by others.
The redhead says it wasn't a problem. The boys were all up late last night planning the battle with Ash. However, the gym leader is curious as to why Glacia has called her for this secretive meeting.
Straight to the point. I respect that. So I won't beat around the bush. I wasn't expecting your friend to make it this far in the league. Truth be told, I was ready to depart before the battle with Phoebe even finished. But then he surprised us all by winning. So now I have to be the one to end his league run. However, I find myself with a bit of a complication. Ash seems to have been distracted over the last 2 battles. I know it has something to do with that girl May. While it is none of my business what they have going on, the battle between Ash and myself is my business. I've seen the way you handle yourself, so I'm here to ask that you keep Ash focused by making sure May is present and accounted for in the battle today.
How do you expect me to do that? Misty asks.
Not my problem. You know them far better than I do. Figure it out. I'm sure you can get creative.
Glacia then stands to leave.
Your friend has the potential to be great, but if he cannot focus, then he won't beat me. So please eliminate all distractions for him. And if by some miracle that Ash does manage to beat me, you're going to need to make sure those distractions stay gone. The future of the league may depend on it.
The elite then walks away, leaving Misty baffled at what she just says. What does she mean by the future of the league? As the redhead contemplates this over the next few hours, the battle with Glacia comes and goes, leading us into the battle with Misty and May. Here, we see Seviper with the win over not only Misty's Politoed, but her Staryu, as neither one of them could deal with the Serpent and its Poison Coil combo. It looks like your last year of training didn't do any good. May snaps with a bit of venom, as Misty recalls her Starfish. Maybe, but the truth is, I've only been battling as a trainer. These contests and combo moves that you and Ash have come up with are something else, and it does give you guys the advantage in battle when you have mastered how to use a Pokemon's natural abilities in the way that you two do. But that doesn't mean that it's unbeatable, and I think I have the answer to your poison type with a serpent of my own. This is where Misty calls on her ace, that she has raised from an egg since she took over the gym, in the form of a Gyarados. The emergence of the mighty beast causes May to gulp a bit, as its size is staggering compared to Seviper. Oh, come on, don't quit on me now, Misty says. As May considers her options, we move back to the battle with Ash and Drake. The boy decided that the best way to face Kingdra is to go for true power, so who better than Slacking? However, Ash has run into a snag. The sloth is unable to close the gap with Kingdra using the water to hide itself. This is made exponentially harder as Drake has filled the pool with smokescreen, making visibility near zero. Knowing they are in a bad spot, Ash orders Slacking into the water in an attempt to flush it out. But the problem is, Kingdra hasn't been idle, as it dodges the multiple focus punches thrown its way. With each failed hit, Drake commands another Dragon Dance or Ice Beam to chip away at the health of Slacking. Luckily, it has Slack Off, allowing the damage to be minute. However, the Dragon Master has bided his time for long enough. As Slacking goes for another focus punch, the command to strike is given.
Kingdra, use Body Slam!
The dragon moves under the water with such force that it creates a wave in its wake that allows Slacking to track it. This is it, Ash thinks. Now use Feint Attack. The normal type steps aside and thinks that it won't miss this hit. However, it is gravely mistaken, as the speed that Kingdra demonstrates is nearly a blur as it slams into the Kong with enough force to cause it to flinch. A paralysis has just set in. Ash can see that things are turning against him, so he commands another focus punch, but the speed is a factor yet again, allowing Kingdra to hit for great damage. No, this isn't good. One more hit, and Slacking is done. This leaves Ash with only one play, but it's going to cost him. Slacking, use Yawn. Suddenly, as Kingdra slams into the behemoth for one final time, a loud yawn washes over the stadium. While normally this would take a moment to set in, as Slacking falls to the body slam, Kingdra is put to sleep all in one motion, bringing the battle to an end, giving Drake his first win of the match. The two trainers both recall their Pokemon.
You know, that's not what I had in mind when I said you will need to adapt. Though, I suppose I can't complain. You managed to shut down one of my strongest along with its power-up.
Wiping a bit of sweat from his brow, Ash tells Drake that he thought that Slacking could win, but you were just one step ahead.
Don't take it too hard. I have years of battle experience, and I have dealt with my fair share of Brawler-type Pokemon, so the chances of your sloth winning, they were slim to start. But enough about the past. Let's focus on the task at hand.
Drake then wastes no time in presenting his third dragon, the Cotton Ball Altaria. With a deep breath, Ash considers his options. Pikachu is still looking a little worn out, so he decides to go with someone fresh. Glalie, I choose you! The Ice Head emerges from the ball, levitating over the battlefield. This is the one Pokemon that has a type advantage against Drake's high-level dragons. I just hope it's enough. So, as those two start their next battle, we move up to the Champions box as we see the Elites, Goodshow, and Steven all watching the battle with bated breath. However, they are not all silent, as Glacia is giving Goodshow an earful via whispers.
You crazy old coot. Just what were you thinking when you waged the fate of the League on the outcome of the boy? Do you want to lose your life's work and send Hoenn into a dictatorship?
The old man states that while things may seem bleak, the truth is things have never felt more alive. Think about it. Steven wanted you all to be on the same page, but he's convinced that there's no way that you can. So he wants to break the League at its foundations so that he can rebuild it in the image that he envisions.
Yes, I can see that plain as day. But why would you give him the keys to the kingdom? Drake is leaving. He is the only one that could have possibly made Steven understand the path of destruction he has now set himself on. Not even my strength could stand to him.
You know, it's funny that you still don't believe in Ash's abilities, even after he managed to beat you.
Are you mad? He's just a boy. While I won't deny his skill, Steven is on a whole other level. He will slaughter him in a full battle.
If that's the way that it has to be, then who am I to argue with it? I think Drake has come to realize that as well. If you look down there, this is the first time in a long time that Drake is actually just enjoying the battle. Ash brought that out of him. He let go of the past, and for the first time, he wants to face the future.
But Drake is pulling his punches. That is obvious to anyone that sees this battle. He's checked out. This battle means nothing to him.
I think you should look closer. Drake isn't holding back. As a matter of fact, he's doing the exact opposite. He's helping the boy grow by pushing him. Drake realizes that he won't be around forever, so either he holds on to something that he will eventually lose, or he cements his legacy and helps the next generation achieve the same greatness as him. Glacia looks at the battle, hoping that Goodshow is right. All the while, Steven scoffs at this notion, thinking that the old man has finally caved under the pressure of his poor decisions that led to the situation to begin with, though the champion has to admit that Ash is proving to be far more resilient than he gave him credit for, as he watches Phoebe and Sydney grip their seats so hard that he can see the whites of their knuckles. As the battle rages into the midway point, we flash back to the battle with Misty and May. The battle hasn't gone very well for the Princess of Hoenn. Gyarados has managed to take out both her Seviper and Beautifly without really breaking a sweat, though it did take a few hits from rollout and was hit with a stun spore. However, from May's point of view, it seems like neither of those matter as her team is dropping like a Flygon. Misty comments that May was so confident that she would win, but for a hack gym leader, the redhead seems to be doing alright. If the girl can't even beat Misty, then there's no way she's going to be able to beat Ash. The water specialist drives this home by telling May that she's become obsessed with this thought, asking why it's so important for her to have a battle with the boy. May yells that that's none of her business, as she plans to win this by sending in her Munchlax for the next battle. Misty doesn't even really feel threatened by this thing, as it has the same oblivious look that her Psyduck usually has, so she decides to keep in Gyarados for the moment. With the start of this battle, Misty goes big for a Hydro Pump, though things unfold more for May with the Stun Spore playing a part, causing its attack to fail. Seeing this as her chance, Munchlax begins to charge a Solar Beam at the command of its trainer. This leads to a back and forth between the two, as the Serpent struggles to get a hold of the tiny bottomless pit. However, when Munchlax missteps, Gyarados finally coils around it and squeezes tight. What follows is a clash of Hydro Pump and Solar Beam, though Munchlax proves to be the winner of this, as paralysis is too much and Gyarados lets up on its attack to take the full force of the grass type move, ending the battle and finally giving May some relief. As Misty recalls her ace, she compliments May. That was clever, though it cost you a lot. Munchlax is looking a little tired after all of that. This is something that May can't deny. The normal type is breathing hard, but she refuses to give in to Misty, stating that she can take whatever you throw at us. Well, I guess I'll take you up on that offer. The redhead then matches Munchlax's cluelessness with some of her own, as Psyduck hits the field. May is left utterly puzzled by this choice, even questioning if Misty is serious. Oh, definitely, the redhead says. This is where we move back to the present with Ash and Drake. The Dragon Master has found himself in a very odd position. Altaria's Fire Blast was proving to be too much for Glalie, forcing Ash to improvise on the spot. However, this proved to be something that even Drake had never encountered before, as the Ice Head used its Ice Beam with the Protect to form a casing around itself, allowing for a full-blown assault from Ash that the Fire Blast was unable to stop due to the thickness of the barrier between Glalie and the heat. This resulted in the boy taking a win over the Dragon Master, when Altaria couldn't really do anything to stop this new defensive attack that Ash had created. Recalling the fluff ball, Drake seems rather impressed.
Tell me, what do you call that move you just used? It's the first time I've seen it during the whole tournament.
I'm not really sure, the boy replies. I just came up with it in the heat of the moment.
Well, I must say that it was very effective. How about we call it the Arctic Shield?
Hey, that's not bad. What do you think, Glalie? Do you like the name? The Ice Head gleefully cries its name to show the approval of this new attack.
I'm glad this pleases you, though I'm also sad that I must bring your time in this battle to an end. Now Charizard, let the skies burn with your fury!
Whoa, a Charizard. Ash can see the fire lizard is very strong. It may be even stronger than his own, so in the interest of self-preservation, the boy decides to recall his Ice Head for the time being.
What a shame. I was hoping you would want to test your new technique against a true fire user.
Yeah, maybe later. Glalie took a lot of damage in that last battle, so I would like to give it a chance to rest.
Very well. That is your right in this battle. Just remember, that doesn't change how I handle the way I go about victory.
Ash gulps for a moment as he looks at his partner. What do you think, buddy? Are you ready to get back out there? Pika, the mouse cries before jumping back into action. With the call to start this battle, the command is given for an Iron Tail, only to be met with a Brick Break from the fire type. They appear to be even at first, but Charizard is quick to prove its power when the starter begins to push down with all of its might. This slowly drives Pikachu into the ground, as it is unable to counter from the position that it's in. While not enough to end the mouse, it's only due to a Thunderbolt that the lizard breaks its hold, though Charizard takes the attack for a bit longer than normal. As the fire type pulls back its claw just enough for Pikachu to escape, Ash notices a bit of a sadistic smile on its face. This catches the boy off guard, causing Drake to notice.
I take it that my Charizard's behavior makes you a bit nervous. Well, that's a good thing for you. I would exercise caution when engaging it, as, if I'm being honest, Charizard is a bit of a masochist. It likes enduring pain in order to see how powerful an opponent truly is. Charizard will take everything that you can throw at it, just for a clean shot that tests its raw power against yours.
Seeing this could be more dangerous than he had intended, Ash questions if the mouse is okay. Pikachu gives a thumbs up, as it takes to all fours. Okay, use quick attack, Ash calls, but the Charizard is already countering with another Brick Break. Seeing they need to create an opening, Ash calls for an Electro Volley. Charging its tail, the orbs circle around Pikachu as it sprints forward, ready to use them as a means to break Drake's next counter. Ash tells Pikachu to fire the first two, which are met with another set of Brick Breaks, causing a brief explosion. Smiling, Ash knows that this is their chance, as the third ball is driven into what he thinks is Charizard's gut. However, the boy finds out the hard way that this didn't matter. As the smoke clears from the first two balls, the Charizard smiles as it holds the mouse tail in its claws, compressing both of the ball and Pikachu's tail at the same time. This causes the electric mouse to scream in pain, but there's little time for Ash to counter, as with the command of an outrage, Charizard's eyes glow in a red hue before it releases a savage fury on the rodent, slamming it into the battlefield below multiple times, leaving Pikachu cratered unconscious, and Ash looking on in disbelief. As the boy tries to wrap his head around the severity of what just happened, we move back to the champions box with the elites who are now commentating on the battle.
Man, that's a brutal attack. I didn't know that Drake was capable of something like that.
Listen, Phoebes, if you think that one was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. That was mild compared to what he did to Absol the first time we battled.
Well, I'm glad I never got that type of reaction. I don't think my Pokemon could have handled it.
Yeah, he must not have thought it was necessary. Guess he only uses it when his opponent is too strong. Someone like yours, truly.
It's really mind-boggling how your brain works, Sydney. Drake didn't use it on you because you were a threat, but because of the frustration he felt from having it to entertain your battle.
Oh, come on, Glace, why do you say such things? I was able to beat you in our battle.
That was a fluke, and you know it. Sneasel's Ice Punch would have taken out Cacturn if it hadn't slipped on the rock that was exposed in that small part of the battlefield.
Well, either way, I managed to earn me way to the old man, and that's all that matters.
Right. Keep telling yourself whatever you need to. Though I will say that it's nice to see Drake finally taking the battle seriously. Wait! You mean he's been pulling his punches this whole time?
Don't listen to her, Phoebes. She's obviously telling a furphy. The old bloke's as vicious as he ever was.
You two are truly something special. Look closer at the battle. This whole battle, Drake has been guiding the boy, like he's training him, slowly pushing to see how Ash will react. Then, when Ash was feeling comfortable, he attacked with a brutality on the boy's starter that he hadn't seen before. So, if Drake is training Ash, then what's the reason? Does he want to sponsor him or something?
Glacia looks over at Steven, who is becoming a bit agitated as he watches the battle.
I don't really know, but I'm sure Drake has his reasons.
Well, is there something we should be doing? I mean, if the Elite Four is training someone, you'd think we should all be doing it.
There's no need to overcomplicate things by you getting involved. The best thing to do now is just watch and see how Ash responds to the change of pace for the battle, and that his first Pokemon just took the beating of its life.
This causes them all to turn back to the battle as Steven begins to clench his fists a bit, knowing full well what Drake is planning. All the while, Good Show can see this, and a bit of hope returns to the old man's face that has been missing for the last few days. Back on the battlefield, we see Ash walking out to collect Pikachu. The boy is visibly shaken by the actions of Drake and the shape that the mouse is in. Picking up his starter, Ash questions if it's alright. However, there is no response. Turning, Ash questions why Drake would take it to that extreme. There was no need for such force.
I'm afraid you're wrong about that. This is a battle first and foremost. I saw the chance for victory, and I took it. Sometimes that is the only way to win.
Yeah, but there was no reason to cause that much damage to Pikachu or any other Pokemon for that matter.
Ash, I'm afraid you're wrong. In your battle with Glacia, there were several moments that could have turned things in your favor. However, you refused to act on them.
Maybe, but I still won the battle, so it doesn't matter how I won.
I'm afraid you are wrong. You left everything to chance in that battle. If slacking didn't have the power it did, then you would have lost. Hesitation is all the difference between victory and defeat. This will be your final lesson on the road to becoming a champion. Now prove to me that you can overcome your shortcomings and take your victory.
The boy is unsure on how to respond to this. Walking back, Ash calls for an official to come to get Pikachu so it can get some medical attention from the Nurse Joy that is on staff at the stadium. Once the mouse is off, Ash turns to face Drake. The look in his eyes, it's that one that he saw the day that they battled for the first time. The Dragon Master was holding back then, but now Drake has nothing left to lose. This being his last battle in the league means that he is holding nothing back. Digging in, Ash decides that he's going to have to be serious if he wants to win this. After all, that is the reason he came to Hoenn, to test his abilities as a trainer. He's going to win this for Pikachu. No, for all of his Pokemon. Pulling out a ball from his belt, the boy sends in his next choice in Flygon. Smiling, Drake had a feeling that this would make an appearance, but it's no matter, as the Elite recalls his Charizard for the odd choice of Kingdra, who is currently sleeping away. Ash is unsure about this, but the battle is called to start, so he goes on the offensive calling for a Dragon's Breath. Though because Slaking can barely touch Kingdra, the damage isn't enough to knock it out, but it is enough to wake up the Water Dragon, allowing it to take refuge in the water below. However, Ash isn't worried about this, ordering Flygon to dive in after it, as not to give Kingdra any time to get its bearings. Using this, Ash calls for another Dragon's Breath that Kingdra just takes in favor of a Dragon's Dance. Knowing this is bad, Ash orders his dragon out of the water as soon as another smokescreen is used, making the visibility basically zero. However, they need to attack from the distance, so Ash orders Flygon to fly as high as possible. They need to bring the rain. Knowing what the boy wants, the dragon does so, barely dodging a body slam from Kingdra. As the water type circles below the surface, Flygon beats its wings faster and faster, then dives, creating a pop. Smiling, Ash orders a Dragon's Breath before telling Flygon to pull up. Doing so, it creates a Dragon's Burst that blankets the battlefield and separates the water, exposing Kingdra. Though the water type seems unfazed, as before it's driven to the seabed, Drake orders it to jump from the water. This puts it out of the path of most of the damage that would occur, and Flygon directly in its line of sight, causing Ash to hesitate. With an Ice Beam, Drake shows just how outmatched Flygon truly is, as its ×4 weakness comes into play, with the Ice Beam driving it into the water below that is now swirling with its own Dragonic attack. In the end, as Kingdra returns to the water, Flygon surfaces, belly up with spirals in its eyes. The crowd falls silent. They can't believe the dramatic shift the battle has taken. Ash is a bit stunned too. He thought he had that one, but Drake saw his moment and took the opening, putting it all at risk. If he hadn't hesitated when Kingdra jumped out of the water, then this would have been a very different result. Recalling his dragon, Ash is down to his last two Pokemon. Looking at Drake, who stands stoic, staring at the boy's soul, Ash can't help but to feel that he may not actually be able to win this one.
Don't do that. Don't doubt yourself. If you do, then this battle will be over, and everything you have fought for since your journey began will be for nothing. Every win, every loss, they will mean nothing.
Ash looks at the Dragon Master, wondering how Drake knew what he was thinking, but the boy knows Drake is right. He can't doubt himself. His journey, the promise he made to himself, it will be for nothing. Suddenly, the look in the boy's eyes changed.
There it is. The look of determination. The look of a leader that will triumph no matter the cost. Now show me what you can really do.
Drake then watches as our hero makes his final choice for this battle. Sceptile, I choose you. As the ace of Ash's Hoenn roster takes to the field, we pan back to the champions box. The elites have all fallen silent at the battle, as it has become clear on what Drake is trying to do. Though for Steven, this is something that he finds rather vexing. Why is Drake wasting his time with this boy? Just finish him already, the champion thinks. However, Steven knows the reason. Drake said that he would uphold the honor of the league, which from the Dragon's Master point of view means cultivating the next generation. The champion isn't happy with what he sees, as it is a waste of time. But if that's what Drake wants, then no matter. If the boy gets past him, then Steven will be more than happy to put our hero in his place, so he can take control of the league. Though what happens next is going to make our champion happy, as he watches Sceptile make quick work of Kingdra when it deflects an Ice Beam that freezes part of the lake and traps the dragon, leaving it open for another grass attack that drops it.
It's about time you found that fire I've been looking for. The question is, can you do what is necessary to win?
Though this comment doesn't change the look in Ash's eyes as he looks up at all of his friends sitting in the stands. There they all are, including May and Misty, as we flash back to the battle that the two girls were having just days before. It has been intense. The two threw caution to the wind, as May was beginning to grow frustrated with Misty and her incessant pushing on the situation with Ash. This had led to a final showdown between their two final Pokemon, Blaziken and Quagsire. Though the fire starter is May's strongest, and its new move, Thunder Punch, came in clutch when Misty toppled Munchlax. The chicken is having trouble getting past Misty's final Pokemon. This is where the redhead begins to question May relentlessly on her actions. Why is it so important that you have this battle with Ash? I thought you two were friends. Unable to take this incessant questioning any longer, May finally explodes, stating that she needs to know that she can stand on her own 2 feet. May knows that their time in Hoenn is coming to an end. That means that they will have to go their separate ways, but May isn't sure if she's ready for that. This whole time, she's had her friends as a support system to help her when she struggled, but once the league is over, we will all go in different directions. I just need to know that I'm ready for it, and the only way I can do that is to battle Ash. Testing our strength against his will prove if we are ready to take our own journey. This outburst has a reaction that Misty smiles at, causing May to question what's so funny. Do you feel better? The redhead asks. I figured it was something like that. Truth is, I felt the same way when I took over the gym. I didn't think that I was able to do it when I watched Ash grow as much as he did during our time together, but I realized that I didn't get weaker as he grew stronger, but I grew stronger because of him. It was our experiences that allowed me to face the future without him. This comment strikes a chord with May as suddenly something happens. It's like the shackles that were holding her down were suddenly broken for the first time as she feels. This is when we move back to the present moment with Ash's friends and the crowd cheering the boy on. Though things have taken a turn as Drake has taken all of his restraints off with his Charizard by maximizing its attack with Belly Drum. This puts Ash on the back foot a bit as he struggles to deal with the ferocity of the Fire Lizard while not losing Glalie, though its new Arctic Shield proves to be invaluable when a Brick Break threatens to end the Ice Head. The barrier shatters as Glalie is set flying, only for a battle-ending Heat Wave to be spewed its way. Knowing he can't let this hit, Ash calls for an Ice Beam on the water below that freezes as Glalie skips across the surface, breaking the fire attack. However, Charizard isn't done, with Drake calling for a Brick Break to end this. Moving with the speed of a Golbat out of reverse, the Lizard closes the gap between the two. There is little time to react, so Ash decides to create his opening, ordering a headbutt on the water that douses Charizard, forcing it to pull back, allowing Glalie to end the battle with a headbutt to the gut of the fire type, causing it to drop into the pool of water. Ash breathes a sigh of relief as Drake recalls the Cantonian starter.
The boy is learning. He may actually be able to win things after all. Though, that depends on his ability to stand up to my last Pokemon. Now, Salamence, ravage the skies with your fury!
Drake's final Pokemon emerges from its ball with full intentions of bringing victory to its master in this battle.
Ash, the last time you faced my Salamence, you couldn't even make a move against it. This time, that will not be an option. If you fail to act, it will rip your Pokemon to shreds.
While the statement is true, Drake can see that there has been a shift in the boy. The lack of confidence that he once had has completely vanished. All that exists is a trainer that will not let anything hold him back. The only question is, who has the greater will? Knowing that Glalie is on its final leg, Ash decides to keep it in for the next battle, though it's going to prove difficult, as with the start of this fight, the dragon wastes little time in going on the attack with a flamethrower. Immediately, the Ice Head uses an Arctic Shield, though it proves to be of little use due to the fatigue that it has finally set in. Knowing they need to stop being defensive, Ash decides that he's going to take Drake's advice literally by switching to an Ice Crash. Pivoting with little notice to the Dragon Master, Glalie clads itself in as much ice that it can before pushing through the fire attack and slamming into Salamence. However, this won't have the effect that Ash was hoping for, as the Ice Crash had turned into a regular headbutt due to the ice melting. This puts the Ice Head in a very compromising position as it takes a Dragon Claw that drives the ice type into the water below. Glalie bobs in the water with spirals in its eyes, signaling that his battle has reached its final act. Recalling the ice type, Ash stares down the dragon and its master. There's only one choice that the boy has left. Last time, they both froze under its ferocity, but that won't happen again. Sceptile, I choose you! The grass type emerges from its ball, showing that it is a very different Pokemon from their last encounter.
You have no idea how pleased I am that this is your final choice. I could tell that you two were still trying to understand each other the last time we battled, but now the trust that you share, it is complete.
Ash tells Drake that he has no idea exactly how right the Dragon Master is, as Sceptile immediately activates its Overgrow.
What's this? Your elemental ability is already activated. Astonishing. Sceptile is reacting to Ash's desire and growth throughout this battle.
With a smile, Drake says that he's very pleased and would like to test this power that they have unlocked.
Now, Salamence, use Dragon Claw!
The dragon hisses as it bolts in the direction of the grass type, though Sceptile doesn't even flinch as it meets the dragon with the quick blade. At first, they appear to be even, but that is only temporary as Sceptile slowly pushes the dragon back until its leaves dig deep into the belly of it before striking for some serious damage. Though Salamence doesn't even flinch at this plane, responding with a flamethrower that hits Sceptile back, forcing it to dive into the pool to escape the heat of the attack. Though there is no hiding the Overgrow as it glows beneath the surface, giving the dragon the perfect target to strike with a rock slide. As the boulders fall into the pool, Sceptile uses a quick attack to outpace them under the water, allowing it to get to shore, though Salamence isn't far behind, scorching any area that it can with another flamethrower. Knowing they need to keep their distance, Ash orders Sceptile to speed ahead with a quick attack one more time, though this is only a temporary fix, and Sceptile can't run forever as Salamence has the advantage in the air. Knowing that he needs to ground the Ash decides that it's time to go on the attack using a Leaf Blade. Using its speed, Sceptile darts out over the water in an attempt to strike its opponent, though Drake will have none of this, ordering a Rock Slide. However, this is what Ash was wanting as he orders Sceptile to cut the boulders in half off while using them as a launching platform. Drake knows that Ash is trying to get above his dragon, so he calls for a Dragon Claw to strike it down. But that's not what Ash was doing, as he uses the rocks as a mid-air pivot to change into a rock tomb that Sceptile is able to do by jumping from boulder to boulder while using the force of its jumps to send them in the direction of Salamence. This creates a prison in mid-air that the dragon has walked right into with a Dragon Claw. Now use Leaf Blade, Ash yells. Sceptile focuses all of its power into the blades as it slashes at the back of Salamence in this opening that it had created. This drives the dragon into the water below as Sceptile uses one last rock to jump to shore. Both Ash and Drake look on to see what the result of this exchange was, though it won't be long as Salamence has finally surfaced, though it's obvious that the dragon is struggling. As it emerges onto the banks of the pool, one of its wings is retracted. As Sceptile glows and overgrow, Ash can see that this is their chance and doesn't hesitate to take the attack, calling for a Leaf Blade. Not missing a beat, the grass starter launches itself at Salamence as its blades glow in a hue that never have before, though things are going to take a turn that no one saw coming.
Stop! This battle is over. I, Drake of the Elite Four, concede to the challenger, Ash.
This causes everyone in attendance to begin questioning what they just heard. Did Drake just forfeit? Even Ash's friends are unsure on what they just saw. Unsure of what he just heard, the ref asked Drake to repeat that statement to clarify any confusion.
I conceded to the boy. Salamence is no longer able to fly. Its chances at winning have been cut in half. So rather than risk its safety, I will take this loss with honor. Ash is the victor, and will move on to battle the champion. Now, finalize this decision.
Not really sure on what else to do, the ref raises his hand, giving the win to Ash of the battle, leaving the boy and Sceptile in complete silence. But why, he thinks? After all that talk from Drake, this is how it ends, with him just giving up. Silence befalls the stadium as Drake recalls Salamence, signaling that his decision is final. However, Ash won't let this sit and angrily demands to know why the Dragon Master has forfeited this battle, all the while in the champion's box. Steven's irritation has jumped straight to anger. Drake has undermined him every step of the way, and this is something that the champion will not allow. But so be it. If this is what Drake wants, then Steven will make an example out of the boy and claim control of the league for the security of all who live in Hoenn.